How you doing?
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Good. Yeah, it's nice to be out of quarantine. That
So
was
you're
rough.
you're
That was
officially
a long time.
officially out?
Now that we did the 2 weeks in quarantine, we're able to be free and we can roam Melbourne. We can go into bars. We can go into restaurants.
Right,
It's really nice. We're free to do whatever we want and stay
right.
wherever we want. So it's really nice. It's actually kind of a glimpse of normal life here.
I was just gonna say it's crazy because you went from like literally almost being like incarcerated for
Yeah.
however. So how long? Well, let's back up. After so when you left the states, you went to Doha first,
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. Okay,
Abu Dhabi.
okay,
Yeah.
and then you
And had a week there. And we had to stay there because they had the charter flight from Abu Dhabi to Melbourne. So only for players and the teams. So they had about like 17 charter flights from
yeah,
a couple cities. So luckily we were on a flight that had no positive cases. A couple flights had a couple positive cases. So that meant that that entire plane had to go into hard lockdown,
right.
which meant that they weren't allowed to leave the room. Whereas I was able to leave the room for 5 hours and get 2 hours of practice in, some gym time, and some nutrition. So thankfully, we were really lucky. Um,
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I heard it was
yeah,
as crazy as like a stewardess tested positive and put the whole flight
exactly.
on lockdown.
And put the whole flight. Yeah, it's just bad luck. I mean, it could
Yeah,
have happened to any of us. But we just have to, yeah, abide by the government's rules. I mean, it's their country and we're the ones coming in, so
right.
definitely have to play by their rules.
So when you flew into, did you fly into Melbourne?
Yeah, we flew directly to Melbourne, so it was about a 14-hour flight from Abu Dhabi to Melbourne. Got in at like 9 p.m. And it
So
was
when you,
nice. They had buses, and we were had police escort, and it was everything was very by the book, and everything was sanitized and proper, and it was
right.
pretty cool.
So when you got off of that flight, like what's like the first 24, 48 hours?
It was
Like you get off the flight,
interesting.
is there people that meet
Yeah,
you like right there? Do you
yeah, we
handle
got
your
off the
bags? Do you
yeah. So once we deplaned, we had a specific area where all the flights were to deplane, and we had our own hangar. So that hangar had like all the processing and paperwork that we had to go through. We didn't get tested until the next morning. Um,
okay.
so I thought we were gonna get tested in that hangar, but we ended up getting tested later. But they unloaded our bags from the plane, and then we handled them. And it was just kind of immigration processing in that hangar, and then we were processed onto a bus. Um, and then we went to the hotel, and I had no idea what to expect. All the doubles players were in one specific hotel. Um, and then I just got a lot of sleep though that night. I remember I was so tired. I slept until like 10, had the COVID test, and you're just kind of locked in for 24 hours. What I thought was 24 hours, and it ended up being 3 days that we were locked inside.
Yeah, wow.
Just some things with the government, a little bit of a glitch there, and we couldn't practice till Monday. So it was
So when
three
you say
days
locked
just kind of,
inside, when you say locked
yeah,
inside, are you by yourself in one room, or do you have room? Just you,
no, just me. Yeah, by
just you.
myself.
Okay.
Just me and my golf putter.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say you fire up your Netflix
Yeah.
and work on putting a little bit
Yeah,
and keep yourself entertained.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And so are you? And so what do they? Do they bring you meals? They knock on your door,
Yeah.
so
They
it's
knock
like
on our
jail.
door.
They slide
Yeah,
your
it
meal
really is.
they slide your meal underneath
Yeah.
the door. You eat it and slide it back, and
Exactly. Yeah, it really felt like a jail in the Nordics. I think that's what it's like, honestly. It was it was a good room. Just had the essentials. At least my window could open, so I got some fresh air.
okay,
Some other people didn't have windows that opened in other hotels, so we got lucky there. And yeah, you get breakfast, lunch, dinner, knock on the door, COVID test, you get the knock on the door, and you're only allowed to open your door if you get a knock. So if you
Wow.
open your door, and then they've got marshals on each floor, kind
Right.
of, going around and making sure no
Yeah.
one's doing any funny
The
business or anything.
the warden.
Yeah, the
The warden.
warden. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, if you open your door, there's someone, looking and seeing what you're doing, and I'm just like, I'm just putting my trash outside, it's
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
dropping off the laundry. So
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty crazy.
And so that lasts for how long? That
That was 3 days, yeah,
3
and
days.
then that Monday we were able to start practicing for like 2 weeks, yeah, a
Okay.
little less than
So
two
that
weeks.
so then they let you out of the room, and then you hook up with the girls that you're working out with or you're practicing with? Or how did
Yeah, so we were only allowed to practice with one person.
Oh, okay.
So, what they did was they assigned us cohorts.
Okay.
So the first week you were supposed to only play with one person, and then the second week we were supposed to expand the cohort to an additional two players. But because of the additional positive cases that happened throughout the first week, they decided to halt the expansion. So we could only stick with one person for the entire time.
And that's
So
just a
that was
random
tricky. Some were random. For me, I was with the girl that I played with the first week here. So at least she was a doubles player. But yeah, there was a bit of mixed test because of the positive cases that threw off some of the cohorts. So
Right.
it got a little tricky.
Right.
Yeah, but I was just glad to be out for 5 hours of the day just to get
Right, right,
outside the
right.
room.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen, like, some pretty crazy, guys flipping their mattress over and, like,
Yeah,
hitting forehands up against the back of their mattress or I mean, a lot
exactly.
of different
Everyone,
yeah, a
yeah,
lot of different kind of ways just to kinda keep you guys just at least feeling like
yeah,
you're doing working
exactly.
out in the
Yeah.
room, that
Yeah,
type of stuff, so
yeah, definitely had to get creative. Saw a lot of creative stuff, and luckily they gave us like bikes, and I saw some people had treadmills.
yeah,
They gave us weights, yoga mats, so they really tried to help us out, which was really nice. And yeah, the organization here is incredible for what they pulled off.
yeah,
I mean, there was a lot of moving parts, and they were able to really pull it off so far.
yeah, 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 and then everyone's going through the same process. Right? Like
Yeah,
literally, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're Rafa or Naomi or whoever, everyone's going through the same deal.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think it kind of levels the playing field a little bit.
yeah.
You know that everyone else is in the same boat and they only had the same amount of hours. And luckily, the WTA added an additional tournament for the ones that were in hard lockdown. So the ones that didn't have any practice, they get their own draw. So they're only playing against people that are in the same boat as them with no practice. So that was really good.
Oh, nice. So what's your prep like now leading up to the Australian? You are you
Yeah.
are you able to play any type of obviously in the past you play like Adelaide or Auckland or something like that, and
Yeah.
you get a couple events in. Like what's it like right now?
Yeah, they started the first tournament yesterday, so I actually had my first match yesterday. Lost a tough one. They were good players. So now I get to practice with the girl that I'm actually playing Australian Open with.
Oh, okay.
So we're scheduling some practice points and practice sets throughout the whole week until we have our match. So we're getting in a lot of tennis, which is nice
Right.
together. So that's good.
Yeah.
And we're not restricted to just 2 hours a day. We can play more than that. So that's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, just keeping a routine here, just tennis, gym, tennis, massage therapy. They've got a nice recovery room here with Normatec machines, ice baths. So
Nice.
it's all pretty good and
So it's
pretty normal here.
starting to kind of feel like a grand slam again. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then traveling wise, you're on your own. Like normally you might have like Nicholas obviously, or even your dad, or like
Yeah.
what's the protocol for that has been what? Like you're only allowed one
It
person.
Yeah, it definitely shifted leading up to the events here. in like October, they said, okay, we can bring as many people as we want. Then it kind of dwindled down. And then in December, they told us we really need people not to bring anyone because
Right.
I guess the government imposed a cap on how many people can enter Australia. So they were actually asking people to give up their allotment for the quarantine. So they offered anyone who would give up their spot $7,000. So they were
Oh,
really incentivizing not bringing anyone.
right.
And with COVID and everything, I didn't really want to bring anyone anyway.
Yeah.
So that was just an extra incentive to not bring anyone
Yeah.
because they really needed the space. Yeah.
How has it been? Like I know you played the US Open in terms of the difference between playing there and playing at the Open. What have been some of like the significant differences in the way that they're kind of
Yeah.
going about the COVID thing? Not trying to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely different. I think the US Open, they did a good job. It's just, I think they did a good job overall because they really managed the positive cases and they took an extra step with the close contacts,
Yeah.
which there was a little bit of controversy with them pulling out a lot of players from the draws because of the
Right.
close contacts, but they were trying to be safe and they were trying to do the right thing. So I think the U.S. Open did a good job there, mitigating the spread and the risk for all the players. But here they definitely take it like three notches up with the 2 week quarantine and all the protocols here are definitely notches up from the U.S. Open. But I mean, they did it the right way here. I mean, Australia has zero cases, or at least in our state here of Victoria, where Melbourne is,
Yeah.
they have zero cases. They have zero locally transmitted cases. So all the positive cases are from the people coming in. And so the only way to mitigate that risk is having the 2 week quarantine.
It's a
So I
pretty
think they did it the right way.
it's a pretty interesting case study about how to
Yeah,
actually kind of
yeah,
go about doing it.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how that would work here in the States. That's a
It's
whole nother
hard. We have
that's a
so
whole
many
nother whole
people.
nother conversation probably. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. It feels like they're doing it right. Like,
Yeah,
it's you go
absolutely.
through, everyone's going through the same thing. So it's not like anyone's getting a preferential
Yeah,
treatment. Everybody knows that going in.
exactly.
You guys knew what the deal was
Right,
before you flew down. And so it's like,
right.
okay, we got to suck it up. And then, but now you're out, no masks,
No masks,
meals.
really. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything is pretty normal. Except like in the stores, if you can't socially distance, they do encourage to wear a mask if it gets kind of packed, just as a precaution. But I mean, pretty much you're free to not have a mask for the most part.
yeah, it's got to be kind of a
But it's
kind of
pretty
a,
good.
yeah, like kind of a nice feeling back what it used to be like.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Who you playing dubs with?
Makoto Ninomiya, she's from Japan. We practiced a lot actually in New York, and we tried to get in some tournaments together, but it just didn't work out previously. But yeah, I'm excited to play with her coming up. Should be good. So we're getting a lot of practice in during this week together.
Nice. How did you guys hook up? What's the history
Um,
there with her?
we generally practice a lot together at tournaments over the years. We just never thought to play with each other because we had set partners and whatnot. But finally, we said, okay, yeah, let's do it because we practiced a lot during like the fall together at the tournament. So we
Yeah.
thought we gelled pretty well.
Nice.
Thought it'd be fun. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. So it starts February the 8th, I think, right?
Yeah, but for doubles, it'll start Wednesday. I don't know. I think that's probably the 10th or something. Doubles is always like 2 days after the first round of singles.
Nice. And then hopefully you go nice and deep, but then what's the plan?
Yeah.
As you straight home after the Australian, or do you go somewhere else, or what's the
Um,
plan after?
Yeah, after the Australia swing, it's still kind of up in the air. It's gonna depend on what I get into. So there's some options. I could go to Doha, Dubai, which are the premier events.
Uh-huh.
Or then there's one in France, or then there's one in Mexico. So there's some
Okay.
options. I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to go home or if I just go straight to those events. So it's kind of we have to see what happens the next couple
Yeah.
weeks here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's exciting.
Um,
It's nice to be on tour again.
right? Yeah. Under
Hmm.
whatever situation, at least you're kind of
Yeah,
back doing your thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Have you heard any chatter about Indian Wells here in March?
So Indian Wells got postponed or canceled, postponed. So that's not happening in March. The only thing that's happening is Miami.
Okay.
I think they are trying to postpone it to the fall, but it's still kind of up in
Yeah.
the air. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
just tough.
California's still a
Definitely
mess.
understand it. Yeah, California, and then you've got the elderly in Palm Springs, so I can definitely understand,
Right. Right.
wanting to not take the risk. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, hey, thanks for the time. I know you're crazy busy, and I know you're under like a time
yeah,
crunch for practice and everything. But
yeah,
yeah, I appreciate you just kind of jumping on here real quick. And if you don't mind, probably follow up with you like maybe before you play that first match or after those first couple
yeah.
matches you get in. All right, Sabs.
Great. All
Thanks.
right, Tim. We'll
Yep.
catch you later.
Yep. Stay safe. All the
Bye.
best. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.